All right, so today we are going to change out the valve cover gasket on a 2011 Kia Soul Sport. You can see that there is oil leaking everywhere on this thing, and so it needs to be changed out. If you took this to the shop, it'd probably cost $200–300, mostly in labor, but I was able to pick up these replacement parts here for about 30–40 bucks. So we'll be able to do this whole thing for less than 50, and it really shouldn't take too long. So you might have noticed that the cover's already been removed. It was removed a while back, and apparently somebody didn't replace it, but you may have to remove it on yours before you get to this area. The first step is we're going to take these spark plugs or these coils, and we're just going to wiggle them out and set them to the side. You'll be able to keep up with which one is which based off of where these wires are going to. So let's see if we can get these out. Sometimes they can be a bit challenging. You just gotta work them out. We'll come back to that one in a second there. We'll put this camera down while I'm gonna wiggle it out. All right, now after a little bit of work wiggling those coils out, we are going to come take some pliers to this piece here. We're going to take this off, this tube here, and then we're going to do the same thing on this one. And after that, we're going to go around this whole thing, and we will remove each of these bolts here on the outsides of our valve cover. You can see them here. They'll be just right around the outside of it, and then we're gonna have to undo these as well to get it out. So I'm gonna do that, and I'll come right back. All right, now that we have these two tubes here undone, and also all of the bolts removed from around the cover, which there were 12 of these types of bolts. And then you have the two on this side here, which are separate. So keep these two separate, and then the rest of these you can put together. I throw them to the side here, which side note, you can see oil on them, so we'll need to clean those off before reinstalling everything. So now that we have all that removed, we should be ready to remove the cover. And one thing we'll need to do is we'll need to get a flat-edged screwdriver underneath this to kind of gently pry this side up. I don't know where I put mine. Here we go. So I was just using this here and putting it in here and just kind of working around the sides here to get it loose. And then once it's loose all the way around, we should be able to pull it out. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. All right, so I was finally able to get it up. It took a little bit of wiggling to get it out because it was pretty sealed back here, and I really couldn't get back there to kind of get underneath it like I did up here. So just be patient and wiggle it out. Don't break anything on the way out. And so now what we need to do is we need to clean up around here, around all these outsides, where this oil is. We're just gonna get some part cleaner. We're gonna put it on this towel here. Go ahead and do that. And then we'll take this and we'll just wipe away. That way we're not knocking any gunk into here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that all around this whole thing, And once it's clean, we're going to come over here and clean this bit up too as well, and we're going to get this this gasket out so we can replace it. One thing also to keep in mind is a lot of times they will put some silicone around the corners, and we're going to do that too when we reinstall everything. So you may need to take a razor to scrape that away if it's stuck pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this up and show you all what it looks like. All right, so I was finally able to get it up. It took a little bit of wiggling to get it out because it was pretty sealed back here, and I really couldn't get back there to kind of get underneath it like I did up here. So just be patient and wiggle it out. Don't break anything on the way out. And so now what we need to do is we need to clean up around here, around all these outsides, where this oil is. We're just gonna get some part cleaner. We're gonna put it on this towel here. Go ahead and do that. And then we'll take this and we'll just wipe away. That way we're not knocking any gunk into here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that all around this whole thing, and once it's clean, we're going to come over here and clean this bit up too as well, and we're going to get this this gasket out so we can replace it. One thing also to keep in mind is a lot of times they will put some silicone around the corners, and we're going to do that too when we reinstall everything. So you may need to take a razor to scrape that away if it's stuck pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this up and show you all what it looks like. All right, now that we have that nice and clean around the sides there, we're going to move to pulling out the old gasket from this cover. That way we can put this new one in. So we're going to need to get down here and pull this up and around, and then we're going to need to pull these four out right here as well. You may have to get a flathead screwdriver or something like that and really dig in there to pull it up. What I'm going to try next is using these pliers to kind of pull it out, and it looks like that'll work. These older ones, yeah, there we go. It's kind of hard to do with one hand right now, but these older ones, they get kind of stiff and can break up sometimes. This one seems to be pulling out pretty well. So what we'll do is we'll rip this whole thing out. That one broke right there. So what we'll do is we'll get that whole thing out, and then we'll clean in between here real well and let it dry out before putting the new one in. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, since we got it all cleaned out real good, now I ended up actually cleaning the inside a little bit here because it had some debris in there that I didn't want to fall into the engine. So I went ahead and cleaned it out. So now what we're doing is we're putting the gaskets in. I've already gone ahead and put the 3 spark plug gaskets in, and we'll go ahead and put the next one in. You just kind of pop them in place. Really kind of use some force to push them in there. I'm going to do it with both my hands after I stop recording. And so now we're going to put the outside gasket on, and you'll just find the corner piece that kind of bends like this and start there. And what we'll do is we'll just put this this little ring area around here, and then we'll just work around the sides, pushing these in place. And so let's go ahead and do that. We'll be right back. All right, now that we have all the gaskets in, we are about ready to reinstall it. So one thing that I've seen recommended a lot is to add gasket sealant really around the corners. So you're going to look at corners like that one right there, that one right there. Sorry if that's a terrible view, but you can see that corner. Really sharp corners, and then we're going to put a little bit around this bend right here as well. So those are areas that can crack easily, or you might not get a good seal with. So we're going to cover those real quick. So I'll show you how real quick. You just really put a dab here. It would help if I popped this open first, wouldn't it? All right, hang on 1 second. There we go. So you can get a little dab like that right there and pop it on the corner. And we'll do that to each corner, and we'll come back and we'll just kind of smear it around so that it's on there smooth. So I will do that, and then we will throw this thing back on and we'll see how it looks. Before throwing it back on, that's kind of how I put it right there. I'm gonna smear that around a little bit more to make it flush, but that's about it. That's all you have to do. I don't go overboard with it. All right, there we go. It fits back on nice and smooth. And so now we're just going to be able to reassemble everything. You can see there's a little bit of a gap right there. That's because the gasket is pretty thick, so that's not an issue. We're just going to tighten all these bolts back up pretty snug. So I went ahead and I wiped them down. The biggest thing was making sure there wasn't any oil in these threads, and we'll go ahead and we will throw them back in. So we'll put all these back in, and what we're going to do when we tighten them up is we're just going to kind of alternate. So we'll tighten this one and this one, you know, back and forth. That way you're not tightening one side first. All right, now that we have put all the bolts back in and we have attached these two tubes back up, what we're going to do is we are going to put our coils back on these spark plugs. One thing I want to point out was that I went ahead and changed my spark plugs. You can see here these were very old and way overdue for a change. So I mean, if you've made it this far, it's worth spending the extra 20 bucks to change those out. So remember, the first coil will go into the far one, and you would just pop that in and push it down. Your second goes into the first one over here. Same thing, just work that in. Push down until it pops. It'll make a. Your third will go into the second one. And the last one goes into the third one. All right. And then you can reset these up here, popping them into place. Keeps it neat. All right. Let's remove our tools. And I believe that's everything. We'll do a check through, make sure all of our bolts are tight. Make sure we put everything back the way we found it. All right, let's go start it up and see what happens. All right, and there we go. It seems to be running well. We will keep an eye on the outside of this here to make sure that there's no oil coming out over the next couple of days, couple of weeks. But we should be good. So I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please hit the like button and subscribe for future videos. Thanks, y'all.